You see, Jesus was a bit like the child who said, "He's in the altogether. He's naked as the day that he was born," referring to the tale of the emperor's new clothes. Spiritual teachers, spiritual God realizers, great adepts, these enlightened people say what they see without fear of ridicule, without fear of feeling guilty, without fear of not being liked. They are standing alone as great seers, S-W-E-R-S. They have realized something that majority of us can realize, but we haven't got we're not there yet. We're not in that disposition to simply say what we see. A bucket's a bucket, a spade's a spade, etc. This child saw that the emperor was not wearing any clothes at all. And there was the emperor walking through the town. Maybe he had his underwear on, because it was all about a suit of clothes. So let me read you the story. The tale concerns an emperor who has an obsession with fancy new clothes and spends lavishly on them at the expense of state matters. One day, 2 con men visit the emperor's capital. Posing as weavers, they offer to supply him with magnificent clothes that are invisible to those who are incompetent or stupid. See, they are invisible to those who are incompetent and stupid. The gullible emperor hires them, and they set up looms and pretend to go to work. A succession of officials, starting with the emperor's wise and competent minister, and then ending with the emperor himself, visit them to check their progress. Each sees that the looms are empty, but pretends otherwise to avoid being thought a fool, because the emperor was pleased. Finally, the weavers report that the emperor's suit is finished. They mime dressing him, and he sets off in a procession before the whole city. The townsfolk uncomfortably go along with the pretense, not wanting to appear inept or stupid, until a child blurts out that the emperor is wearing nothing at all. The people then realize that everyone has been fooled. Although startled, the emperor continues the procession, walking more proudly than ever. The fate of the con men is not revealed. And this is what we do in society. We go along with the mass. As a child, I said to Jesus, as one does, I do not want to follow you. I do not want to be one of the sheep. I want to be more like you. That didn't go that didn't go down very well, did it? If I mentioned that to friends or family. I remember saying to my mother, if there was another war, I'd be a pacifist. And she said, if you were, I wouldn't want to know you. After an argument, I said, no one's going to bring me down. So when I have been brought down, it's due to this. I brought myself down. So here I am, whatever you want to call it, pontificating or whatever. I'm simply saying what I see. And I see clearly the foolishness of the world. The world. Everyone's going around like headless chickens, trying to please one another all the time, not wishing to feel rejected. So we go along with the masses. Well, I don't. Never have done. I was only speaking to someone today. He asked me what orchestra did I play in, asking me whether I was a member of any one particular orchestra. I said, no, I never wanted to be a wheel in a cog in a wheel. I said, I didn't want to be a machine churning out the same music day in, day out. I was happy to play the cello, but not as an orchestral member full time. So I became a freelance cellist, where I could choose. I must admit I hated not being principal cellist. So, yes, you have to risk not being liked. You have to risk upsetting the apple cart. You have to risk, if you see the truth and you wish to speak it. Of course, one's sensitive. You see, I live in a world, I'm in the world but not of it. I live in a world where I just keep quiet, unless I'm asked. If someone asks me a question, I'll tell them. With sensitivity, how it is for me. Because my reality is that I'm already happy. I am awake. I see clearly. I have no need to defend anything. In this place, I have no history. I'm not going to feel guilty. I'm not fearful of anybody. I'm living like an open hand. The majority of people live like a clenched fist. They live like the crowd. The crowd, although they could see that the emperor was naked, stuck together to please the emperor, and they were fearful of possibly being excommunicated, or whatever the word is. Beheaded, maybe. So how many of you are like a naked emperor who pretends? How many of you are part of the crowd that, again, pretends? How many of you, like the little child who sees clearly, blurts it out, no doubt gets admonished? She shouldn't say that. No. Only tonight, I paid £18 to attend a curry supper, and it wasn't good. It really wasn't. And the person who organised it made a handsome profit. He ought not have made a profit at all. He should have given. It should have been a gift. Okay, pay for the food just for the cost of the food, not to make a profit. As a sign of gratitude for his customers. So it's 18 quid for curry, which was not nice. It was so bland. There was no spice. It didn't make me feel hot. There was no spice in it, no chilies. It was pathetic. And the naan bread was cold and tough. The poppadoms were quite nice. There was no drink with it. No one offered us water. About 30 people. What's that? £18 times 30. 3 18s, 36, 46, 54. So 54, £540. The food wouldn't have cost that much. 150. Whatever. He asked me, did I enjoy the meal? I did say, well, I much prefer it to be more spicy. I got told off for saying that. Someone overheard me saying it. How rude of you, he said. It's a society for us. As a child, I could see things clearly, and I got punished for seeing things clearly. I remember saying, I was only 4 years old, possibly 5 years old. The teacher had gone out of the room, and I said to a classmate, I was only 5. I said, I pointed to the seat, and I said, that's where teacher's bottom sits. And he told the teacher. I was punished. I was sent out of the room. Another time, I was in my teens, and this English teacher was very disturbed, I think. He was teased a lot. Anyway, on this one occasion, he got cross, and he swore at a girl who had just come out of hospital, having an operation. She has a hole in her heart. And I don't think I stood up, but I may have stood up. I said, that's no way to speak to Karen. And he got really annoyed with me, so much so he slapped me across the face. I was on the floor. Another time, God, all these things are flashing back. I walked backwards out of the gym into the changing room, and I accidentally bumped into Mr. Greenwood. And he's never liked me. And I turned round to apologise, and he slapped me across the face. I was always getting into trouble. I was also always, I was influenced by other people. I was like then the open hand, you see. I was vulnerable. I was easily persuaded to do things, easily influenced. So, the enlightened person is awake to the stupidity of living like a clenched fist. The clenched fist disposition is always seeking approval from others, is always wanting to be made happy by others, is always wanting to be acknowledged by others. It always wants to win approval, so instead of simply being happy. What says you? There's these two realities, the ego and the divine. And it's only the act of the self-contraction that prevents us from living like the divine. It's as simple as that. And then you become so ordinary. You live in such a human, ordinary way, without all the pretense. Yes, one's sensitive. There are very few mature adults who are able to talk easily, freely, and feel comfortable and happy. Thank you for listening.